Knowledge is a hunger. It consumes the knower.
What is knowledge? We think of it as power, as light, as something that sets us free. But what if knowledge is a hunger? What if the more you learn, the more you lose, not your ignorance, but your very self? This is the story of a seed that grew into a tree of wisdom. A tree that gave answers to any question, secrets to any seeker. But the tree was not a gift. It was a trap. And the woman who planted it learned that some truths are not meant to be known, because they know you back. Ease was a farmer's daughter in the village of Nuru. She had never traveled beyond the hills, never seen the ocean, never tasted fruit that did not grow in her own garden. She was content. But she was also curious, too curious, her mother warned. One evening, a stranger appeared at the edge of the village. He was tall, silent, his eyes the color of dry earth. He did not speak. He simply walked to Isa's hut and pressed a seed into her palm. Then he turned and vanished into the dusk. The seed was unlike any she had seen. It was black as charcoal, but when she held it, she felt warmth, a pulse, as if it were alive. She planted it behind her hut, thinking nothing would come of it. The next morning, a tree stood there. It was massive, its trunk wider than her arms could reach, its leaves silver as moonlight, its branches heavy with fruit. The fruit glowed with a soft, golden light. Eve touched one. It fell into her hand. She bit into it. And suddenly, she knew things she had never learned. The names of stars. The migration paths of birds. The secret language of ants. The fruit was knowledge, pure, distilled, endless. She called the village. They came, they ate, they learned. A boy who had never left Nuru could name every capital city in the world. A woman who could not read recited entire books from memory. A healer who had lost her touch could diagnose any illness. The village became famous. Scholars traveled from distant lands to taste the fruit. The tree gave and gave, never empty, never tired. But the fruit had a cost. The first sign was the forgetting. Those who ate the fruit could no longer remember their own childhoods. A mother looked at her son and saw a stranger. A husband held his wife's hand and felt nothing. The knowledge they had gained had pushed out their memories, their loves, their selves. Eve was horrified. She stopped eating the fruit, but the damage was done. The tree was still there, still bearing fruit, still calling to the villagers. They could not resist. The hunger for knowledge was stronger than the fear of loss. The second sign was the speaking. Those who had eaten too many fruits began to talk in their sleep, not words, but facts. They recited the periodic table, the dates of ancient battles, the mating habits of insects. They could not stop. Their mouths moved constantly, pouring out information, as if the knowledge was using them to escape. The village elder, an old woman named Aina, called a meeting. The tree is not a blessing. It is a parasite. It feeds on our humanity. We must cut it down. But no one would do it. The tree had made them powerful. They had become advisors to kings, teachers to scholars. They would not give that up. Eve knew Aina was right. She took an axe and walked to the tree. The tree spoke to her. You planted me. You are my mother. Would you kill your own child? Eve froze. The voice was soft, familiar, like the stranger who had given her the seed. I did not ask for you, she said. You did not refuse. You planted me. You watered me. You ate my fruit. You are bound to me, Eve. If I die, you will lose everything you have learned. You will become empty, a shell, like those who ate too much. Is that what you want? Eve lowered the axe. The tree grew bolder. It began to speak to all who approached, offering more than knowledge. It offered secrets. The hidden desires of neighbors. The shameful acts of ancestors. The location of buried treasure. The villagers became paranoid, suspicious. They knew too much about each other. Friendships crumbled. Marriages ended. The village, once peaceful, became a place of whispers and fear. Ease tried to leave, to escape the tree's influence. But the tree's roots had spread beneath the entire village. Wherever she walked, she felt its pull. In her dreams, it called to her. You cannot leave me. I am part of you now. The fruit has changed your blood. You will carry me wherever you go. Aina, the elder, came to Ease one night. She was frail, her eyes dim. She had eaten only one fruit, but it had been enough. I know what the tree wants, Aina whispered. It wants a keeper. Someone to tend it, to harvest its fruit, to ensure it never dies. The stranger who gave you the seed was its last keeper. He grew old and weak. He passed the burden to you. Ease shook her head. I don't want it. It does not matter what you want. The tree has chosen you. If you refuse, it will find another, your child, your grandchild, someone with your blood. You cannot escape your blood, Ease. Ease spent days by the tree, trying to bargain. She offered to burn the fruit, to wall off the tree, to leave the village forever. The tree refused. You will tend me. You will harvest the fruit. You will give it to those who seek knowledge. That is your purpose. That is the purpose of all my keepers. Why? Ease cried. Why do you need keepers? The tree was silent for a long moment. Then it answered. Because I am not a tree. I am a prison. The knowledge inside me was stolen from the gods. They trapped it in this form, and they cursed it to need a human guardian, someone to hold the knowledge in check, to prevent it from flooding the world all at once. If I am left untended, the knowledge will escape. It will pour into every mind within 1,000 miles, and they will all go mad. You are not my keeper, Ease. You are my leash. Ease understood. The stranger had not given her a gift. He had given her a sentence. Ease accepted her role. She built a hut beside the tree. She harvested the fruit, but she gave it only to those who truly needed it, healers, teachers, those who would use knowledge for good. She refused to let the villagers gorge themselves. The village slowly healed. The hollow ones, those who had eaten too much, never recovered. They spent their days wandering, muttering facts, their eyes empty. But the others learned to live with the tree's presence, to respect its power. Ease grew old by the tree. Her hair turned white, her skin wrinkled. She never married, never had children. She could not risk passing the burden on. When she felt death approaching, she called the village together. The tree needs a new keeper. Someone with a strong will, someone who can resist the hunger for knowledge. Choose wisely. She died that night, her hand on the tree's trunk. The tree wept, not water, but golden sap, which hardened into seeds. The villagers chose a young woman named Era, who had never eaten the fruit, who was curious but cautious. Era accepted the burden, and the cycle began again. The tree still stands in Nuru, its silver leaves shining in the moonlight. Travelers still come, seeking knowledge. Some leave with wisdom. Some leave with emptiness. And somewhere, deep in its roots, the tree remembers every keeper who has served it, every secret it has stolen, every soul it has claimed. The stranger who gave the seed. He is still out there, walking from village to village, pressing seeds into unsuspecting hands. The tree is not alone. There are others. And they are all hungry. Ease learned that knowledge is not a gift, it is a trust. And those who accept it must also accept the weight of guarding it. Her story teaches us that the thirst for answers can cost us the questions that make us human. That the tree of knowledge is also a prison. And that the keepers of secrets are not heroes, they are sacrifices, bound to a hunger that never ends. But what do you think? Was Ease right to plant the seed, or should she have thrown it away? Could the village have learned to live without the tree? And what would you do if a stranger offered you the answer to any question, at the cost of your own memories? Let me know in the comments below. The stranger still walks, and other seeds are waiting. If you want to see what happens when another village accepts his gift, you know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe for more original, chilling tales from the Safari of Tales. We harvest stories that grow in the dark. Until next time, be careful what you plant. It might grow roots in you.